Hi everybody, welcome to the channel. This is Rob. Today we're going to be reviewing The Terror of the Mystical Moments by Katherine Welch Stein. You guys, this is a beautiful deck. I can't really describe it any other way. This is a piece of artwork, you guys. I'm going to show you everything about this deck. I'm going to tell you what I think about this deck, not only about the artwork, but I'm going to tell you what works. I'm going to tell you what doesn't work. And I'm going to tell you how this deck really speaks to me. Let's get into it, you guys. So, front of the box, side of the box. It's the side of it, by the way. It opens into two, and these are the extra cards, and I'm going to show you those extra cards in a moment, but this is the top part of the box. This is the bottom part of the box. Self-explanatory, and it comes with a book. The book is pretty beautifully written, actually. I definitely suggest that you keep the book and that you read it, because it has its own way of talking about the major and minor arcana. The book is pretty neat. It's got that rose petal feeling to it here on the front and on the back. Pretty neat book. And here, let me see if I take my finger away. There, you can pause, and here's the rest of it. So you can read about it at your own leisure. It also comes with this card, and you can pause there and take a look at it and take a read. And these are the extra cards that it comes with, you guys. And it comes with the King of Swords in a female, because they intended this to be a female themed deck. And there's the King of Pentacles. So as I said, you guys, I kept the males in my deck. And so I kept these guys out. And though they say that this deck is really, female based or inspired, I am totally in touch with my feminine side. I don't have a problem getting decks, whether they are, female oriented or male oriented, this doesn't matter to me. First of all, what really matters is that the deck really speaks to me. And so gender is really not something that I focus on. And this deck is absolutely stunning. I love these images, you guys. She is brilliant. Her images are absolutely brilliant. And so this deck is gilded, as you can see, in a silver, beautiful. These cards are very shiny, by the way, you guys. But, and once again, I'm really not into shiny cards, but, for this deck, I don't know. I'm sort of torn by that. I mean, I find this to be a perfect deck, but the shininess, it could have also been mate, and I would have been happy with it too. At the beginning, I didn't really like the fact that it was shiny, but I've gotten used to it. And I think I'm a little bit disappointed with the paper quality. I mean, it's not bad. It's not that it's bad. It's just that I wouldn't have chosen this paper quality myself. I think I would have chosen for this deck. And it's just so beautiful. Nevertheless, it's still beautiful. And this is one of my favorite decks in my collection. I do readings with it. I use it a lot. And I use it for myself. I use it to do readings for others. It's sort of like a soft deck, and the images are soft, but they really say a lot. And so we'll get into some of the images. And even though it is a gentle deck, it's still just, it's just like, it's not one of those decks that just takes the knife out and cuts you to pieces. It's not. But at the same time, it's just, but it doesn't do that, but it does that in a very subtle way. So it just cuts you a little bit, and some of the images are very sweet, but some of the other images are not so sweet, but still in a very subtle way. I don't know if you catch my point. This is a deck that is very chatty. And so you can really, I think that every card just tells its own story. And so this is one of those decks that if you're not careful and you do a reading with it, I think it can take you like a long time to do a reading with this, because every card shows so much. Every card really has its own story to tell. And so it just chats and it just goes on forever. So this guy is just going to be chatty. And because it can be like that, I use this deck a lot to do clarifiers. So I'll, when I've done a spread with my chosen deck, which could be, for example, a regular Pamela Coleman Smith or deck. And when I feel like I'm gotten stuck or it's not telling me anything else because the regular RWS can do that, I will grab this deck and I will then do my clarifiers with this deck. And all of a sudden, it just speaks another language. Though it is the same meanings, it just speaks to me differently. This deck speaks. It's very interesting because although it also speaks its own language, and I don't know if you catch my drift when I say that, but that's what this deck does. And this is one of the reasons why when I can't get any further with my reading, when I've done my spread and then all of a sudden I'm like, okay, well, why is this card there and what does it mean? And maybe the person that I'm reading with is asking me like, what does this mean? What is this saying? Then I'll just grab this deck and I'll use it as a clarifier, and boom, all of a sudden there's my answer. And it's just amazing. For me, this deck can be a little bit overwhelming when it comes to just doing the whole spread with this deck, because it has so much to say, because every card is just really a fairy tale sort of a deck that it just, it can be kind of overwhelming. If I hope that I get my point across, but it's a great clarifier deck. So for me, I've used it a lot as a clarifier. Also, you guys, I got this deck a while ago because this is not a new deck. And when I got this deck, I was sort of like starting with tarot, and it was very difficult for me. Like I had this deck, I bought this deck a while ago, and I just put it away because I didn't really get it. It was just too difficult. And this was one of those decks that I got at the beginning, and I kept looking at it and I couldn't do it because it was just too hard. Now it's the opposite. It just speaks to me so clearly, and it just goes on and on about what it wants to say. So in terms of shuffling, I'm going to get going with the review because otherwise I'll just keep talking a lot about this deck. There is tons to say about this deck. And it is a bigger deck. So when it comes to regular size, has like an oracle size. So you guys, and paper quality is good. Shuffling is also really good. Because it is glossy. It slides really well, but it doesn't really escape my hands, which can happen with a lot of glossy decks. This one doesn't. So, I mean, though I'm not totally happy with the fact that it is shiny, I can tell you guys that it is a good quality shiny deck. So for a mass-produced deck, not bad. Let's do a fan situation. Works okay. It doesn't work so good. I've already showed you a lot of the cards while I was talking. So I did that on purpose so that you could see cards and hear what I had to say at the same time. But let's pick some cards together and see what we get. This is the Knight of Pentacles, you see. And it just, I love the leaves, how the leaves make the horse, right? And really sweet, really. I love this Seven of Wands. I think it's a different Seven of Wands. I've never seen a Seven of Wands like this, but every time I see the Seven of Wands, it really speaks to me. I really like the image. I love the tattoos on him. I love the mustache on him. I love his body. I find him very sexy, and I just think it not only all of that, but the tattoos are really, really cool on him. If you're just looking at the tattoos, you find out so much more. And this is what I'm saying about this deck, you guys. This deck, each card has so much to say that it is just completely chatty. And so it'll chat to you for days. Two of Wands, sweet Two of Wands. Look how sweet that is, right? I mean, the moon, she's holding the globe there, or the earth. And it's just, what am I going to do? Where am I going to go? I have the world at my fingertips. It's up to me to get it started, but it has that innocent feeling to it. This is not an older woman. This is sort of like a teenager sitting on her rooftop, but holding the globe, looking at the moon, great responsibilities and just tons of meaning. Look at this Seven of Cups, be careful what you wish for. She's wishing for the stars and what's in it. She doesn't know what's in there. Just really cool. Just really, really cool. Really beautiful, you guys. Knight of Swords. And then again, you're going to find that most of the images are women. If you know, if there's any guys looking at my videos, like I said, I don't have a problem with this. I've talked to some other guys that said, yeah, the deck is really not for me. You know, I like more traditional images, and I don't really like to see so many female images in my deck. I don't have a problem. An image is an image, whether it's a woman or it's a man, you know, but if I have the choice and I can make it more inclusive, then I would totally pick men and male and female. I like sort of a mix. So Two of Cups, you guys. She chooses two women to be with the Two of Cups. Make that what you wish, you know, your own interpretation of what she wanted to say with that. What do we have here? The Five of Pentacles. Isn't that cool, this Five of Pentacles, right? I mean, you get the coldness of it, right? But, you know, her hair is roots and she's shallow, you know, just it's beautiful. It's just absolutely stunning. I love it. I love the English touches to it. It's a very English sort of a themed deck, and I just love I love flowers. And so she has a lot of flowers on this deck, and that was one of the things that really attracted me to this deck as well, because I think that flowers are just one of those beautiful things that we have in this world. And you see, and so the Ten of Swords is usually a very violent card, is a card that, you know, depicts blood, and you don't see that here, right? It's like a very intricate hairdo, her on the hairdo. So make your own conclusions about what that means. You know, I mean, is she being hurt? I don't know. I mean, are they going to hurt her? It doesn't look like she's dead. The Ten of Swords is a card where we get a dead character on the card. And this looks to me like it's happening. It looks to me like it's all happening at that moment. So it's not over. It looks to me like it's just happening. And what it's happening, I don't know. Is she being threatened that her hairdo is going to be, you know, taken away? These don't look like weapons to me. They look like needles to thread. So it's an interesting deck. It's beautiful. I love it. Look at this Nine of Pentacles. I love this Nine of Pentacles. You know, this reminds me of a Carmen Miranda. And, you know, she's got the long earrings and it looks very tropical. And so, you know, it just, yeah, it's a really beautiful image. And, you know, let's pick some others here. I love this moon is beautiful. You know, it's like, is she the octopus or is the octopus like going to grab her? It looks to me like she is that crab fish, you know, she is that other, you know, how in the moon they have the crab and then they have the crab coming out of the water. And it looks to me like that is her. So yeah, really, really cool. I love this deck, and I'm sure you've seen a million reviews of this deck, but I had to tell you what I thought about it. Eight of Pentacles, really cool. The Eight of Pentacles too. And let's see, let's grab one more. Is the King of Wands. I have the other cards here. King of Swords. Here's the other King of Wands. So here you have a perfect example of what they meant with the King of Wands, female, King of Wands, male. So I chose to keep the male in there. I like it to be a little bit more inclusive, but that's that. And what do we have here? The Knight of Wands. Interesting. The Hermit. It's kind of a sweet hermit, right? You know, it's not a very drastic card or something. I think that the Hermit card is a very strong card, but I don't see anything that's strong about this card. But Four of Cups. Sweet. I love how what's on top of her is all of those flowers and how they are so heavy on her that she's even like bent because she can't carry all of that. And nonetheless, she's going for another one. It's almost like she's going to take that one and put it on her back. Anyway, you guys, this is a deck that's super chatty. This is a deck that's absolutely beautiful. It's super artistic. I love this deck. I love, 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 love this deck. So it gets like an A+ all the way. I love this deck, you guys. So I am going to, of course, do a complete flip through for you guys. And as I always say, you guys, sit back and enjoy the ride.